Before we get too deep, I want to give a couple of shout outs. First, I want to talk about Beyond Wednesdays, the industry show every Tuesday night. Brian McClay makes so much comic content. It's fantastic. But I am on the show. I'm not a regular, I won't say that. It's actually Jesse and Dennis from Jesse James Comics, of course, and Wonder World Comics. And Brian McClay, it's on his channel, and he brings on everybody from the comic industry. Guy Ritchie, they had Mark Spears on last night. Nick Barucci from Dynamite. Heavyweights in the comic industry come onto that show. If you're interested on hearing about all the stuff from the back room, you should tune in Beyond Wednesdays and stay tuned for some upcoming opening shops. Things are looking bright for 2025. I actually do have a shout out for a new comic shop, and I actually missed it. It was on February 8th. Had his grand opening. I hope it went swimmingly. He's a great guy. Red Hood Comics, 570 South Decatur, Decapitate, Disgust, I don't know. You can find it. It's a boulevard in Las Vegas. Great guy, and I'm sure, and I was watching on YouTube different shows that he's on and all the comics that he showed. Got great taste in comics. Go to his Instagram. He's got like Hollywood outfits. It's amazing. Even if you don't want to buy a comic, you got to go there and buy something because it's really cool shop. I wish I had cool stuff like that in my shop. If anybody wants to send me any. So, Red Hood Comics, 570 South Decatur Boulevard, Las Vegas. Go check them out if you're out in Vegas. If you live in Vegas, stop in. Hey everyone, welcome to Haven for Heroes. And today we're looking at some vintage, some modern comics, and we want to talk about the question that I've been asked and talked about quite a bit. Are comics art? I have pushed constantly talking about it as they are an art form. It's a mash of literary and artistic in a very unique way. But if they're art, which I do believe they are, why are we so against restoration? In every other art form, except for maybe automobiles, restoration is acceptable. And it's even acceptable in automobiles if the vehicle's gone too far, if it's been repainted incorrectly, or the engine's no longer good. These cars are still being saved and collected. In comics, it's almost like you've committed a crime if you restore a book. I have a couple examples I want to show, and I want to talk more about it because I really want people to start opening their mind to accepting restored comics. But we have to be stewards of this, right? We have to have integrity. We have to make sure that people know it's been restored. They have to know, they actually should also know who the person is that did the restoration. I watch a very good YouTube channel called Bumgardner Restoration. I'm going to put a link to that. You can watch him restore some fine art pieces, and it's so interesting to see how he does cleaning, fixing holes, making sure that no more paint chipping and stuff like that. It's really a fascinating channel to watch. And there are now comic book restorers on YouTube now showing how they restore books. I don't agree with them, like a lot of them are sending their stuff off to CGC and seeing if they get purple labels or not. I think that's not having integrity. I think they're doing amazing work on comics, and I believe that they should do that work, but I don't think they should be trying to fool people. I think it's pretty easy to fool CGC. So I myself haven't done any restoration. I'm not qualified to do restoration. There are a lot of hobbyists that have gotten really good at it, and there's some guys out here that that's their job. It is a profession, right? Being a restorer is a profession. There's some amazing guys out there, Big Leg, Red Hood. They can do amazing stuff to a comic. That's who you leave it to, the professionals. It's like anything else. You know, there are people that restore their own car, but you can tell, right? And I think it's going to be the same way in comics. Would I have a comic restored? For a personal collection, I would, but because of the stigma in the industry, I wouldn't have it done for the store unless I was just going to hang it up and not have it for sale. I have a Swamp Thing first appearance that has a corner ripped out of it. And I'd like to get that fixed, but yeah, I'm on the fence. But to give you some examples, this is an Avengers 6. It has a missing piece of the cover here. It obviously has a lot of water damage throughout the book. The pages are actually more gray than yellow, but they obviously are filthy and it could use a deep, deep cleaning. The back is not terrible, but again, it's got that funk. A restoration company could find a donator, like the pieces of a donation car or a donate car, where you get like the organs from another book. So maybe that you find a cover only of Avengers 6. Well, you could use the cover, take this cover off and marry the cover to this piece, and then you'd have a complete book. They actually are able to put pieces back together and fix tears like that. And I think if you could buy this book at a very, very affordable price, have it restored, and then you could have it on your wall, you know, displayed at your home in a much more presentable comic. I'll just give you a couple of more examples. This one is very far gone. So this is the first appearance of him in Thor. It is completely coverless. Has some mold, so you'd have to have the mold removed. The staples are super rusty, and I know people that can clean these back to perfect. It has staining inside. And there's actually, you can actually see, I don't know if you can see through it, but I can see through it, that edge up at the top. Now, could this be brought back to full? No, probably not, but it could get a cover, and you would still have the entire innards are complete. The whole story's there, you could read it. And that's a very expensive book that you could get for almost nothing. And then you're saving the book from the trash, from the recycling bin. So yeah, these are extreme cases and extreme things that have to happen to it. And everybody's against this type of restoration. But what about this type of restoration? Here's a spine roll. If you do a cleaning and press this, that's actually restoration. The way you receive a book when you buy it off the newsstand or off the wall or out of the back bins, whatever condition you get it in is the condition you got. Anything you do to it past that is restoration. But we seem to have accepted all of the pressing and cleaning and erasing, and some people were using chemicals. I guess that's out now because they're being caught because they're trying to get them graded after they clean them. But I just think that there shouldn't be a purple label. It should just say on it, restored. Large letters, restored. I think that the people who are doing the restorations should add some type of documentation to the back of the book that says when it was restored and who restored it. I think they should be taking a lot of keys from the fine art world and the literary world. There's a lot of people that restore actual books, that they use certain types of paper, they use certain types of cleaners, and they get amazing results. I haven't seen anybody doing color touch, but I do know it exists. But I haven't seen anybody doing it on YouTube or watching restoration, other than in fine art, of course. But in comics, I haven't seen any color retouching, but I do think that it's possible. Well, on restoration, I don't feel like some people were making, printing covers and using fake covers. I don't believe in that part. I don't believe in anything that's done nefariously to trick people, right? I do believe in restoring art to its finest level. I don't think that in any short term people are going to pay for restored books. But But maybe in 5 or 10 years, when it starts to get really hard to get certain books, and that you could get, you know, a restored book for much less. I don't want to see people, like I said, a donor book is fine when you get another book and it's in worse condition, but you can use parts of it, like you need a page or you need the staples or something like that, and you're getting donors from another original book, hopefully the same book, then I agree with that. But if you're manufacturing parts, I don't agree with that. Do I think that certain restorators, I guess, restorers, one of those things, I think that they'll also become, you want your book done by that person because they do such a great job. So books restored by certain people will probably get higher values. If the whole restoration game comes in, like I said, without even going to it being graded, I think that there should be something, the restorers should have some type of way of marking that they restored the book. I don't believe in sealing the book up. Some people would think it was a sacrilege to attach some type of sticker to it. But I think a sticker with a QR code, and you could go to the QR code and see all that was done to the book, maybe even the video of the book being restored. That would be really cool. Like, those are kind of things that would add a lot of value to it and to that book, the restoration. And I think it could be something that would be acceptable in the future. Way more acceptable than, you know, when we're going to start having AI comic books. And this could be, when you have it on your wall, it's a great piece of art. If you have, I think that the big, I want to say this correctly. I think the big thing was that everybody thought they were being cheated by certain dealers who had books restored and then were selling them as unrestored. The problem is a lot of bad actors in the comic industry are still in the comic industry because people don't stop buying from them. You have to vote with your money. If you don't trust somebody, you need to spread that around. Don't do it maliciously. Have proof. You know, come with receipts. It is quite possible that the store owner was sold the book restored and they didn't know it was restored. I don't know if I would know whether a book was restored professionally, if it was done very well, if it was something just as like a cleaning, or a heavy cleaning where they're actually soaking all the pages in water, or putting them under a UV light, stuff like that. I probably could tell whether there was a rip repaired, but I'm not sure from a real professional, right? So in the future, if the stigma has been removed from restoration, I would probably restore certain books. You know, restoration's not cheap, right? You're not doing this on a, ALF number 3. You know, you want to do it on a Fantastic Four 1, or I have a very rough X-Men, giant size X-Men 1. It's very rough. And yeah, that would be great if I could get it restored, and it would just be a showpiece for the store, but at the right price, I would sell it. The thing is that, I mean, if you look, restoration pieces like sell for less than a 0.1, a 1.5 or a 1, and probably even less than some 5s. 0.5s, not 5s, 0.5s. So, you know, a restored book is worth less than a destroyed book. And I don't think that that's kind of right. I think that they should, you know, it should be, maybe if they can restore it to near mint, probably is not a near mint comic because it's been restored, but it definitely isn't lower than a 0.5. I get where people wanted to have to know whether it was restored, and I think the problem is solved by the restorer having to put a label on it. And then if it's found that without a label, then there's a problem. But I do believe, because I hate to throw books away. I have books that have holes all the way through them. I just bought one from on auction, a pre-code book that has a mouse chew hole all the way through the book from cover to back, because I just don't want to see the book disappear. So I think that we need to find a way to let restoration be part of the hobby in a bigger way, so that more books can be more presentable, and then we don't have to worry about grading them, because we know that they're restored, but they're beautiful and they're on the wall and they're complete. So let me know what you think down in the comments. This might get me a lot of hate, but I want to see restoration move forward in the comic industry. And you know what I do. Keep reading comics. Keep reading comics.
Read comics. Keep reading the comics.